The morning at the Interspecies Defense Academy began like any other. Students from many worlds filled the training hall, talking in low voices while waiting for their instructor. Ryan Hale, the only human in the class, stood near the back. He liked to stay quiet and observe. Most of the alien cadets still did not understand humans, and Ryan preferred to avoid extra attention. The heavy door slid open, and Commander Vortha stepped inside. She was tall, strong, and covered in scales that shone like dark metal. Her presence made everyone stand straighter. Vortha was known across the academy for her strict attitude and perfect discipline. She expected every student to meet her standards, and she didn't tolerate mistakes. "Today," she said, her voice deep and sharp, "we focus on combat technique, precision, no errors." Her eyes scanned the class, and Ryan felt a slight shiver. She always looked at him longer than others, as if she was waiting for him to fail. Vortha walked to the center of the hall. She lifted her arm and prepared to demonstrate a complex wrist lock technique. It was fast, difficult, and required perfect timing. The students watched in silence. She moved quickly, twisting her arm and stepping forward in one smooth motion. Then something went wrong. Her foot slipped. Her weight shifted too fast. Before she could correct herself, a sharp cracking sound filled the hall. Vortha froze. Her wrist bent at an unnatural angle. Several students gasped. In her species, physical control was very important. Injuries, especially in front of students, were embarrassing. Some students looked away. Others whispered. Ryan felt a jolt of concern. It didn't matter that she could be harsh. Pain was pain. Without thinking, he stepped forward. "Commander, are you okay? Let me help." The room went silent at once. Every cadet stared at Ryan, and Vortha slowly turned her head toward him. Her expression was unreadable, but her eyes narrowed. "You stepped forward without permission," she said softly, but the softness made it worse. "You pity me?" Ryan hesitated. "No, ma'am. You think I am weak because of this injury?" "No, that's not." Her uninjured hand rose slightly, and the whispering from the other students stopped. She stood straighter, hiding the pain in her wrist. Her pride would not let her show weakness for even a second. "You will remain where you are," she ordered. Ryan stepped back, unsure what he had done wrong. He had only wanted to help, but he now realized that, in her culture, offering help without being asked might be seen as an insult. He swallowed hard and kept his eyes down. Vortha slowly wrapped her injured wrist with a training cloth. Her movements were stiff, but she tried to act as if nothing had happened. When she finished, she looked at the class again. "This academy teaches strength," she said. "Strength of body and strength of mind." Her eyes locked onto Ryan more sharply than before. "And some of you need to learn respect." Ryan felt heat rise in his face, though he didn't know if it was embarrassment or frustration. He had not meant disrespect. He knew she was proud, but he didn't expect this reaction. Vortha stepped toward him. Her tall figure cast a long shadow over him. "You attempted to assist me." "Why?" she asked. Ryan didn't know if it was a trap. He answered honestly anyway. "Because you were hurt. I know it wasn't my place, but I panicked. I just wanted to help." Some students whispered again. A few even looked surprised. His honesty seemed strange to them. Vortha studied him for a long moment. She didn't like seeing weakness in herself, and she didn't trust sudden human kindness. She turned away, but her voice remained cold. "You will remain after class." Ryan nodded. He thought she might want to talk privately, or maybe she wanted him to apologize again. But the way she said it made his chest tighten with worry. The class continued, though everyone sensed tension in the air. Vortha used her left hand to demonstrate motions, refusing to slow down even with the injury. Ryan followed the drills, but he kept glancing at her, unsure if she was in pain or angry or both. When the lesson ended, the others left quickly, whispering about what punishment Ryan might receive. Some looked at him with sympathy, others with amusement. Ryan stayed where he was until the hall was empty. Vortha approached him slowly. Her steps echoed on the floor. "You believe that your instinct to help shows strength," she said. "But in my culture, control is strength. Falling, showing pain, accepting help, These are signs of failure. Ryan nodded. I didn't mean to disrespect your culture. I know I reacted too fast. She studied his face again. He expected her to scold him, or maybe dismiss him with a warning. Instead, she did something he did not expect. She stepped back and lowered her stance, as if preparing for a challenge. Before recess, she said, "You'll face me in a discipline match." Ryan blinked. "A match? With you? This incident must be resolved. You offered unwanted help. I must test your intentions. You will accept." Ryan swallowed. Her species was much stronger than humans. He knew he couldn't win in a normal fight. But refusing wasn't an option, and maybe this was the only way to show her that he had not tried to shame her. "I accept," he said quietly. A thin smile appeared on her face, not warm, but sharp. "Good. Then we will see what strength a human truly has." Ryan stood alone in the hall after she left, his heart beating fast. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but one thing was clear. He had stepped forward to help his instructor, and now he had to face her. The next morning, the training hall felt different. The air was tense, as if everyone knew something important was about to happen. Ryan walked inside with careful steps. His heart beat fast, but he tried to keep his face calm. He had faced danger before, but this was different. He wasn't fighting an enemy. He was facing his instructor, Commander Vortha. The students gathered in a wide circle. Their voices were low and excited. A challenge between a human and a high-ranked dragon warrior was rare. Many whispered that Ryan would be crushed in seconds. Others wondered why Vortha even bothered with a match over such a small incident. Ryan didn't look at them. He focused on breathing slowly, steadying his hands. Vortha entered the hall last. Her tall frame cast a long shadow across the floor. She still kept her injured wrist wrapped, but she carried herself like nothing was wrong. Her expression was firm, proud, and unreadable. She stepped into the center of the circle and looked at Ryan. "You stand before me today to answer what happened yesterday," she said. "Your intention to help must be tested. Your strength must be shown, and your respect must be proven." Ryan nodded. "I understand." "Do you?" she asked, tilting her head slightly. "This is not a fight for victory. It is a fight for truth." The students murmured. Ryan swallowed hard. Vortha raised her good hand and pointed at him. "Step forward." Ryan walked into the center, feeling dozens of eyes on him. He didn't want to embarrass her again. He didn't want to disrespect her culture. He only wanted to make things right. A training drone flew overhead, activating the combat area. The floor lit up with soft white lines, forming a circle. Once both fighters entered, the match would begin. Vortha took her stance. Her good arm bent slightly. Her injured wrist hung lower, but she kept it hidden behind her body so it was less visible. Ryan knew she didn't want it to look like a weakness. "Begin!" the drone announced. Vortha moved first. She rushed forward with surprising speed, her tail sweeping behind her like a heavy rope. Ryan barely dodged a strike that brushed past his shoulder. Even injured, she was strong, fast, and graceful. He stepped back, trying to avoid her hits, but she kept pressing forward. "You hesitate," she said while attacking. "You fear to strike." Ryan blocked a hit with his forearm, and pain shot up his arm. But he didn't back down. "I'm not here to hurt you." "Then you are already losing." She struck again, this time with her tail. It hit him in the side, knocking him off balance. He fell to one knee, breathing hard. The students gasped softly. Vortha watched him quietly. "Why did you help me yesterday, human?" Ryan got up slowly. "Because you were in pain." "Why does that matter to you?" "Because it matters to everyone." She narrowed her eyes and moved again. This time her blows were faster. Ryan couldn't dodge all of them. One strike hit his shoulder, another hit his leg. He stumbled but stayed standing. She paused for a moment, as if waiting for something. "Fight back," she said. "I don't want to hit your injured arm." Her expression shifted slightly. It wasn't anger. It wasn't pride. It was surprise. "You hold back for my sake?" Ryan nodded, breathing hard. "You're my instructor. I respect you." The hall became completely silent. Vortha didn't move. She stared at him, her eyes studying his face as if searching for something hidden. Then she rushed forward again, but this time her movements were different. She attacked with her legs and tail, keeping her injured wrist out of fight. Ryan blocked, dodged, and rolled away. He wasn't winning, but he wasn't giving up either. Every time he fell, he stood again. Every time he was hit, he adjusted. The students watched with growing interest. Many had expected Ryan to be defeated quickly, but he wasn't trying to overpower her. He was showing endurance, human determination. Vortha struck again, aiming low. Ryan jumped back, but her tail hit his legs and swept him out from under him. He hit the ground hard. For a moment, the ceiling spun above him. She stood over him. "Why do you rise every time?" she asked. Ryan groaned and pushed himself up. His arms trembled, but he stood anyway. "Because you haven't asked me to stop." Another silence spread across the hall. Some of the students seemed confused. Others nodded slowly, understanding what Ryan meant. Vortha stepped back one pace. Her tail lowered slightly. Her stance softened. "You are strange," she said. "Your strength does not come from your body. It comes from your will." Ryan nodded, catching his breath. "Maybe that's the only strength I have." She stared at him for several long seconds. Then she lifted her good hand. "The challenge concludes." The drone chirped. Match ended. The students began whispering again. Ryan expected Vortha to declare him defeated. He had been thrown down, struck many times, and never once landed a clean hit. But Vortha spoke before anyone else. "The human has shown discipline. He has shown respect. And he has shown courage." Ryan blinked. She continued, "He does not fight with pride. He fights with purpose. This is a strength my people often forget." The students looked shocked, impressed, or both. Ryan exhaled slowly, relief washing through him. Vortha turned to face him directly. "You did not embarrass me. You reacted as your heart told you. I understand this now." Her voice softened for the first time, and I respect it. Ryan stared at her, unsure what to say. Respect from her was something rare. Vortha nodded once. "You may go, rest, and return tomorrow stronger." Ryan walked out the hall, tired, bruised, but strangely lighter. He had faced her challenge. Somehow, he had gained her respect. And deep inside, he sensed this was only the beginning of something much bigger between a human and a proud dragon warrior. The following day, the training hall was unusually crowded. Word of Ryan's match with Commander Vortha had spread quickly, and more students than usual had come to watch. Some whispered that the human might fail the next challenge, while others were curious to see if he would continue to impress. Ryan, however, tried not to listen. He focused on steadying his breathing and preparing his mind for what was to come. Vortha entered with her usual commanding presence. Her injured wrist was still wrapped, but she moved with careful precision, as if her entire body had adapted to protect it. She scanned the crowd, her sharp eyes resting on Ryan with quiet intensity. He met her gaze and gave a small nod, acknowledging her unspoken challenge. "Today," Vortha announced, "we will test more than skill. We will test reasoning in combat. Strength alone is not enough. Strategy, intuition, and understanding the opponent are equally vital." Ryan felt a mixture of anticipation and apprehension. He had survived her physical challenge yesterday, but this was different. This was a test of mind as much as body. She stepped into the center of the hall and held her hand up. A holographic interface projected a grid across the floor, filled with floating obstacles, traps, and moving targets. The students leaned forward, intrigued. The debate in combat would not be just about fighting. It would involve making decisions under pressure, predicting moves, and understanding consequences. "You must navigate the scenario," Vortha explained. "But every choice will be questioned. You will need to defend each decision, or it will be overturned." Ryan nodded. "I understand." "Begin," she commanded. The simulation started immediately. Platforms shifted, walls moved, and energy barriers appeared at random. Vortha moved with grace, demonstrating the obstacle's dangers. Ryan followed cautiously. Every time he made a choice, jumping to a platform, dodging a barrier, moving closer to the target. Vortha's voice interrupted. "Why did you move there?" she asked sharply. "Your path exposes your flank." "Predictable." Ryan hesitated. "Because it avoids the moving barrier while giving me a vantage point." He tried to keep his tone calm, though the pressure was intense. Vortha tilted her head, evaluating his explanation. "Your logic is sound, but it ignores the energy pulse. Your flank remains vulnerable." "Explain." Ryan stepped back, thinking quickly. "The pulse is timed with the barriers. If I delay, I risk falling into the trap. Moving now minimizes overall risk." Her eyes narrowed, and the students murmured. Ryan realized she wasn't just testing him physically. She wanted to see his thought process, his ability to justify his decisions under scrutiny. The simulation threw a sudden challenge, a spinning wall of light that could knock him off the platforms. Ryan made a split-second decision and landing safely on the platform. Vortha stopped, and the hall held its collective breath. "Explain," she demanded. He took a deep breath. "I predicted the wall's trajectory and timed my jump to avoid it. I accepted a minor risk in one area to prevent a greater danger in another." She stepped closer, circling him. "Many humans would panic. You assess, you weigh, and you act. Yet your reasoning is still limited by instinct. How do you account for variables beyond perception?" Ryan frowned. "I anticipate patterns. I learn quickly from feedback. My perception grows with experience." Vortha's tail swished slowly. "Impressive. But humans often underestimate consequences. You trust your mind, but your body is weaker. How will you survive when logic fails and strength is necessary?" Ryan looked her in the eye. "I rely on others when needed. I adapt. I use my mind to compensate for my body. Strength isn't always about force. It's about knowing when and how to act." Vortha's lips curved slightly, almost a smile, though it didn't reach her eyes. "Your words reflect understanding. Many cadets cannot explain decisions, only react. You debate within combat, an uncommon skill." The obstacles shifted again, more rapidly this time. Ryan moved carefully, explaining each choice aloud. Vortha countered each explanation with her own reasoning, questioning him, challenging his logic. The debate became a dance, each step and movement tied to strategy and decision-making rather than pure force. Minutes passed, and the simulation grew more intense. Ryan's body ached, but his mind remained sharp. Every explanation, every prediction had to be defended. Every choice carried risk, yet he kept moving, explaining, analyzing, and adjusting. The students watching were silent, captivated by this unusual spectacle. A human matching a dragon warrior, not just in endurance, but in intellect. Finally, the simulation ended. The platform stabilized, and the holographic obstacles disappeared. Ryan stood in the center, breathing heavily but composed. Vortha circled him, her gaze appraising. "You survived the debate," she said finally. "Your logic, reasoning, and adaptability are satisfactory." The students erupted in quiet applause. Some clapped, some whispered. Ryan's chest swelled with relief, though he knew Vortha's praise was careful, controlled, and measured. She approached him, her eyes piercing. "You demonstrate the potential of human strength, not in muscle, not in reflex, but in mind. You debate in combat. You survive not by sheer power, but by thought, calculation, and will." Ryan nodded. "Thank you, Commander." Her tail flicked once, sharply. "Remember, human. Debate alone does not guarantee survival. Balance intellect with action. Never forget that." He agreed silently. Every day with Vortha pushed him further, beyond fear, beyond instinct, into a place where mind and body work together. As he left the hall, he realized something important. The human advantage was not in competing with strength, but in combining reason, courage, and adaptability. And in that combination, even a human could earn the respect of a proud dragon warrior. The next morning, the training grounds were quiet, almost eerily so. The students moved slowly, glancing at Ryan as he entered. Word of yesterday's debate in combat had spread throughout the academy. Some were curious, others skeptical, but all knew something had changed. Ryan felt the weight of their stares, but he kept his focus steady. Today would not be about proving his skill. It would be about proving his character. Commander Vortha stood at the center of the arena, her tall frame still commanding respect. The injury on her wrist was mostly hidden now, wrapped tightly in a thin bandage. Her eyes scanned the students before settling on Ryan. There was a quiet intensity in her gaze that made him both nervous and determined. "Today," she began, her voice strong and even, "we will conclude this series of challenges. You have faced physical trials, and you have faced reasoning under pressure. Now you will face a test of integrity, courage, and respect. Your actions will speak louder than words." Ryan nodded. He understood that this was the true measure of a human's worth in her eyes. It wasn't about defeating her in combat or winning a debate. It was about demonstrating honor, consistency, and the ability to act rightly under scrutiny. The arena transformed. Platforms rose and fell, walls shifted, and a complex obstacle course appeared before him. But this was different from the previous challenges. There were no combat drones, no attacking targets, only situations designed to test his judgment. Some platforms were safe, but led to dead ends. Others required him to take a small risk to progress. There were areas that tested patience, others that demanded quick decisions. Vortha stepped forward. "You will navigate this course, but every choice you make will be observed. You will face situations that challenge your morals, your courage, and your respect for others. Let your actions guide your path." Ryan took a deep breath and stepped forward. Each platform he moved presented a choice. One led to a shortcut but required him to jump across a dangerous gap. Another offered a safe path but took longer. At each decision point, he considered not just a risk to himself, but the example he set for the students watching. He hesitated briefly at one point, weighing the safest option against the one that required courage, and chose the latter. Vortha's eyes followed every movement, sharp and calculating. She said nothing, but her presence was a constant reminder that he was being judged. Ryan pushed forward, encountering more complex situations. A narrow bridge that required precise balance, a sudden drop that demanded courage to leap across, and moving platforms that required careful timing. Each time, he acted with steady confidence, neither reckless nor timid. Halfway through, a situation appeared where he had to choose between helping a small simulation drone that was trapped on a platform or advancing toward the goal. Many humans might have ignored it to save time, but Ryan reached out, carefully guiding the drone to safety before continuing. He knew this act would not earn him speed, but it reflected the values he wanted to uphold. Vortha watched closely, her expression unreadable. Then she spoke softly, almost to herself. "He does not act for glory, nor for recognition. His choices reflect his true self." Ryan reached the final platform, a wide expanse that required a careful jump to a solid surface. He took a moment, assessed the distance, and leapt. He landed safely, breath steady, heart pounding with relief. The students watching erupted into quiet murmurs of approval. Many had not expected a human to complete the course with such composure and moral clarity. Vortha approached him slowly. Her eyes studied him from head to toe, then met his gaze directly. "You have completed the test, not through speed, not through brute strength, and not merely through intellect. You have completed it by demonstrating courage, patience, integrity, and respect." Ryan exhaled slowly. He had not come to the academy seeking recognition. He had come to learn, to prove that a human could hold their own among dragon warriors. Now, that recognition came not from winning or defeating, but from being true to himself. Vortha nodded, almost imperceptibly. "You have earned my respect, human. Your actions reflect the qualities that our people value most: honor, courage, and integrity. You stand not just as a student, but as a symbol of what humans can achieve." The students looked on, some in awe, others in quiet disbelief. Many had doubted that a human could earn respect of a dragon warrior, yet here it was, demonstrated through consistent action and unwavering character. Ryan felt a sense of calm pride. He did not need to boast or prove anything further. Respect, once earned, spoke louder than words. He had shown that humans, though smaller and physically weaker, could demonstrate qualities that transcended mere strength. Vortha extended a hand toward him, a gesture rare and symbolic in their culture. "Walk with honor Human, let your actions continue to speak for you. You have shown that humanity's strength is not just in muscle or firepower, but in the choices we make when tested. Ryan took her hand briefly, feeling the firm grip of a dragon warrior who had once seemed untouchable. In that moment, he understood that the respect he had earned was mutual. Though she was a warrior, proud and formidable, she recognized the value of his courage and integrity. As he left the arena, the students' whispers followed him, filled with admiration and curiosity. Ryan knew that the path ahead would hold more challenges, more tests, and more opportunities to prove himself. But now, he carried something far greater than skill alone. The respect of a dragon warrior and the knowledge that human courage and honor could hold their own, even in the shadow of beings far stronger and more ancient. In that quiet moment, Ryan realized that he had not just survived the trials. He had earned his place. And in the world of dragons and humans, that place was significant. Not because of power, but because of the strength of character and the courage to act rightly when it mattered most. The days that followed were filled with new challenges, but Ryan felt a growing confidence he had never known before. Word of his actions had spread throughout the academy. He was no longer just a human who joined the Dragon Warrior School. He had become an example of what a human could achieve with courage, integrity, and intelligence. Students looked at him differently now. Some with respect, others with curiosity, and a few with quiet envy. But Ryan paid little attention to their opinions. His focus was on learning, improving, and proving that humans could stand shoulder to shoulder with the most formidable beings in the galaxy. One morning, Vortha approached him as he trained in the practice arena. She moved with her usual grace, but there was a sense of approval in her eyes that he had not seen before. "Human," she said, her voice calm yet commanding. "You have shown skill, reason, and honor. Today, you will lead a mission that no human has led before. It will test everything you have learned." Ryan's chest tightened. Leading a mission among dragon warriors was daunting, but he had prepared for this moment in ways he did not fully understand. He nodded. "I will do my best, Commander." The mission was revealed quickly. A distant outpost had sent distress signals. A group of young dragon cadets had encountered a hostile alien species while exploring a neutral sector. The task was to reach them, assess the situation, and lead a safe extraction. Ryan studied the holographic map. The terrain was treacherous, unstable ground, sudden energy storms, and narrow passages through jagged rock formations. It would require strategy, timing, and calm under pressure. Vortha looked at him with quiet intensity. "Your leadership will be judged not only on your decisions, but on how you inspire those under your command. Your mind must guide the group as much as your words." Ryan took a deep breath and gathered the cadets. They were nervous at first. Dragons trained to command and fight rarely took instructions from a human, but he spoke clearly, outlining the plan. He emphasized caution, observation, and cooperation. He listened to their suggestions, integrating their expertise with the strategy. Slowly, the dragons began to follow him willingly, impressed by his calm and methodical approach. The journey began. Rocks shifted beneath their feet, alien storms erupted, and strange energy currents threatened to throw them off course. Ryan remained focused, guiding the group with patience and decisiveness. At one point, a narrow passage opened, but it required a calculated risk. One misstep could have caused serious injury. Ryan assessed the risks, explaining his reasoning to the cadets. With careful steps, they followed, each trusting him more with every movement. Suddenly, an alien patrol emerged from the shadows, hostile and aggressive. The cadets prepared to fight, but Ryan raised a hand. "Hold. Let us observe first." He watched their movements, predicted their attacks, and then led the dragons in a coordinated maneuver that used strategy over sheer force. The aliens were outsmarted, not overpowered. Ryan's careful planning and quick thinking minimized danger and allowed the group to move forward safely. As they approached the trapped cadets, Ryan saw the young dragons huddled together, frightened but unharmed. He quickly assessed the safest extraction route, coordinating his group to shield the young dragons as they moved. Each choice was deliberate, each movement precise. When they reached safety, the young cadets looked at him with wide eyes, realizing that a human had guided them to what they believed to be impossible terrain. Vortha observed from a distance, her wings folded but her presence commanding. When Ryan returned to the outpost with the cadets safe, she stepped forward. "Human," she said, her voice carrying across the cleared field. "You have done what many thought impossible. You have led dragons, protected the vulnerable, and used intellect and courage to achieve success. Your species demonstrates the potential for greatness." Ryan felt a surge of pride, but also humility. He had not acted for recognition. He had acted because it was the right thing to do. Yet now, in this moment, he understood something profound. Human courage, determination, and intelligence could match the strengths of even the most formidable species in the galaxy. The other dragons looked at him with newfound respect. Whispers of admiration spread, and a sense of acknowledgement settled over the group. Ryan realized that respect was earned not through size or firepower, but through consistent action, sound judgment, and the willingness to face danger without hesitation. Vortha approached him one last time, her eyes softer than he had ever seen. "You have proven that humans can rise above expectation, that courage and reason can prevail where brute strength may fail. Today, you have shown the galaxy the true meaning of your species' potential." Ryan nodded. "Thank you, Commander. I only did what I thought was right." She inclined her head. "And that is why you triumph. Not because you are human, not because you are strong, but because you choose to act with integrity, courage, and wisdom. Let this be remembered. The measure of any being lies not in its power, but in the choices it makes under trial." As he walked away from the academy grounds, the dragons around him no longer saw a human as an outsider. They saw a leader, a strategist, and a being whose spirit could match their own. Ryan knew that the path ahead would hold further challenges, but now he carried a certainty that human determination could withstand any trial. The Academy would remember him not as a small human among dragons, but as a symbol of what humanity could achieve: courage, intelligence, and honor prevailing even against the odds. And in that triumph, he understood the truth that had guided him all along. Humanity's strength was not measured in firepower or wingspan, but in the heart and mind, and the courage to act rightly when it mattered most. And so, the human soldier, once doubted and underestimated, stood among dragons, victorious not through force alone, but through the undeniable power of human will and spirit.